Yeah.
All right, it says we're live. I'm waiting on YouTube to pop up over here. Not that I need to look at the YouTube because I see it over here.
It really helps though.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let me refresh this. It'll probably show me now. Yep, there we are. Live stream with Tiny's Honey.
All right. So yeah, subscribers, I mean, that's cool to have them and all, but at the end of the day, it doesn't denote your intelligence in beekeeping. If you think you know it all about beekeeping, you're probably wrong.
Let's see. All right, so went ahead and pop the stream in there. Who knows who pop up? Last week we had an all-star cast just about.
Yeah.
So, oh man. Yep. So I just saw the link come across there. So everything been going good for you? I mean, we haven't talked as much as we did.
Just waiting. Just waiting on the bees, man. That's it. That's all I can do. Everybody knows I'm swarm trapping, and it seems everybody has an opinion on how I'm doing it, and that's fine. We all know how opinions are. They all stink.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, I've been at this just a little bit longer than you, like 3 years, right? So I know I don't know everything. And in a lot of my videos, I'll even ask for comments. You know, hey, what's going on, Lee? Good to see you.
What's up, Lee?
You know, I'll even ask for comments of what people think to do. If you had a question or something that you were wondering about, you know, being first year, what do you think your biggest question would be? I mean, this is on impromptu. We didn't rehearse anything, guys. This is just as we see it. We just are talking about
my
it.
My biggest question.
Yeah, if you had a question, if you had something, you know, hey,
knowing what I know now.
Yeah. I mean, like, what would you do? You know, your first year, like, hey, what do you think I should do? Type of thing.
Find a mentor.
Find a mentor.
Find a local mentor. Absolutely. 100%.
I mean, you're in a bee club, local bee club?
Nope, I won't do bee clubs here because they're all they're wishy-washy. They really are. Well, I've tried to contact the president of the local beekeeping club so I could go work bees with them. He's like, yeah, hit me up in March. You know, never called me back, never texted me. I've called ag departments, everything. Won't do beekeeping clubs.
You know, my local beekeeping club is not really local to where I live. I mean, it is in the city, but it's not like close to where I live. And my work schedule is kind of prohibitive on being able to actually attend meetings. And, you know, it's just, with that being said, the last pictures I saw them post up, it looked like there was about 15 people there at most, you know, mostly older guys, which is good. You know, I'm an older guy.
My mentor went to a beekeeping club recently to talk about some stuff, and he said they were just totally rude, mean. Like, once he got through everything, she's like, oh, okay, you're done. You can go now. Just real shitty to him.
Right.
You know, so he's like, I don't go to bee club meetings anymore because it's more like rich people, you know?
Well, I think, and I know I don't always look like it on my videos, you know, I'm a pretty highly educated guy. I'm about 6 hours short of my master's degree in health science. So I'm
only a few short of my education in teaching and
so it's like, it's not about book knowledge, right? And we've said it before, subscriber count does not denote your
intelligence.
Education. I mean, I'm trying to help my mentor, South Carolina Happy Bees, get better at doing YouTube because he likes doing the videos. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll be honest with you, his videos they're not the most graphically interesting, but you know, he is talking about what he's seeing, and you can get some stuff out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's been doing it for, I think, 15 to 20 years, and he's got probably 100 nukes.
Yeah.
You know, so he's got knowledge. And hey, Sarah, and thanks for stopping by. There's a link if anybody wants to join in. More than welcome to click on the link, and I'll get you added into the stream, and you can chat with us. We're just talking.
Hey, Sarah. Good morning.
You know, what's going on in beekeeping in our areas, and you know, this morning more about you know, issues we're having, right? Some few issues. And
overall the experience, like, to start up, I'm still first year. I'm 6 months into into beekeeping with you guys. And it seems what I found out is there's a lot of good people out there, but there's also a lot of people on the platform that are quick to bust down the first year because, hey, he's new guy. Let's go ahead and bust him down.
Well,
you know, that is so discouraging. That's the one thing I found out is like, hey, anybody out there that's watching in your first year, be careful because you're going to have people on here that are going to bust you down, man. I promise. It's already happened to me a couple of times, man. And ridiculous.
Right. And I do this, I enjoy the interaction with people. I mean,
I do too.
Enjoy it. That's great. But when it comes to my YouTube channel, primarily it's for me. It's a video vlog or video vlog. That is the same thing, right? A vlog.
Video vlog, yeah.
Of what I did on a specific date the previous year. So I know next year when I go back and look, okay, well, February 4th, I was doing this. I was making a split, or a queen came back, or, different things like that to help me document my beekeeping. And if you go back to my original beekeeping videos, they were a lot like yours as far as, well, this is what I'm doing to try to save money to get started in beekeeping,
beekeeping costs money.
Oh,
man.
Lord.
Costs money.
This came yesterday, guys. This is a 50 pack of Apivar strips. You're supposed to put 2 per 5 frames of bees, right? $150. Now, if you've got 20 colonies that are double deeps, right? 20, I mean, each one of these should take 4. So I don't have enough to do all my colonies, and that was $150.
Let's do the math on that, Bob. How much would that cost? Say you got 20 colonies, right?
You would need two per box, right? They're double. So if you got 20 colonies, that's 40 deeps.
Times 2 is 40. Okay.
Right. So then you'd have to have 2 strips per deep. So that'd be 80 strips, right? So
All right.
I'd have to pay at least $300 for just that, right?
And that's just for one treatment.
Right. One treatment, and they're supposed to be in there, I think 4 to 6 weeks or something like that.
Oh, don't be camera shy, Sarah. Come on with us. This is the best way to break the ice.
Oh, yeah. We're just hanging out. It's just 2 of us right now. And there's only 3 people watching, and I've got one of those people. So, so it's you, me. So we're talking to each other. And then this came, which I haven't taken out yet.
It's a pollen.
40 pounds of pollen sub.
How much did that run you? Yeah, let's talk prices. How much did that 50-pound pollen sub run you?
Well, it's 40 pounds. It costs $100.
$100. Okay.
$100. So
Daniel Garrison, overbook and video educated and waiting my first bees, Vancouver, Washington. Right on, man. Thanks for coming in, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
Right on, man. I'm first year too, dude.
Hey, if you want to hop in, the link is in the description, or not in the description. It's actually in the comments. I can post it again.
Yeah, just scroll up if you want to join the stream here. The link's there.
Yeah, we'll add you in. We're not shy. We're just talking about bees and things that we've come up against and things that we've.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, no problem, Sarah. Maybe another time.
So, Daniel, you're in Vancouver, Washington. What's it looking like up there for you right now?
The frozen tundra. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Brian from Castle Hives is here, guys. Also, I've got if you notice the streamer, I am affiliate with the Hive Alive. If you're interested in anything, there's a discount code, Robert10, get 10% off your order. So, definitely check that out. But, so YouTube is challenging, especially you and I are both veterans, right? So we have a very direct approach. Right. So we take things very directly as well. So sometimes it's hard when people leave comments on videos to distinguish, for me, if they're being a butt or if they're actually trying to help.
Yeah.
Right. So that becomes a challenge from the video making thing. People don't, I think they assume that because you have a YouTube channel that you know everything.
I don't.
Yeah.
I just took a class. And here's the thing. Let me get this straight. The Heroes to Hives class, all it did was a foundation, guys. It didn't teach me everything. Understand that. I understand that. And they told us that. This isn't going to teach you everything about beekeeping. Beekeeping is in the yard. I get that. But the foundation that this class gave me, guys, you can't beat it, man. Most first years were probably going killing their bees, man. not knowing anything.
This guy did.
See, and I feel fortunate enough to actually have that foundation to be like, okay, now I know how to identify the situations when they arise. Now it's time to apply all that knowledge I've learned, and whether or not I kill my bees, it's going to happen. I'm no doubt going to have dead outs at one point, and that's going to be a part of the process, man.
All right, I'm 3 years in. Let's look at this. We can look at just this year, the last 3 months. Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys have seen on my channel, I've made 10 splits. Of my 10 splits, only 3 still have bees in them. Only 3. That's 70% loss. Now let's look at that from the flip side. Had I not made any splits, and we'll assume those 3 actually make it, which I'm kind of suspect on whether they will or not. But if they make it, I basically killed 2 10-frame deeps, because you're going to make 2 to 3 frames, right? So if you make 10, that's like 30 frames. Like you could say 3 10-frame deeps of bees that have essentially died trying to make splits. Now, with that being said, I still have 3. So if those 3 eventually grow up and they do make it, then I've netted 0 new colonies, right?
Yeah.
It's the same amount of colonies. Now I do have 3 new queens. It is 3 new colonies. So I would have gone from, 10, let's say 10 to 13 as compared to 10 to 7. So it is a growth. It's just not near what I had planned or wanted to happen. So I'm still going to be, right now I'm kind of in the stage, since I took all those brood away, I'm trying to let my donor colonies now regain their strength to start making splits again. And it's stuff you do. Some of it's a gamble. The weather could be going real good for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden we're back in freezing territory. The first year I thought that, I'm just going to split and split and split. And I bought 5 nukes. Okay. My nuke provider can only get me 1 because they were having a bad year. So I said, you know what? I'm not in a hurt for the money. Just put me on the list for next year. I got 1 of those nukes. I got 1 nuke, and 4 of them went to my second year, which ended up helping. But I caught some swarms. I got up to 15 colonies my first season, and I just kept splitting them, trying to grow the amount of colonies. And the problem was that I split them too thin. When the hive beetles came in, they just wiped everything out. I ended up with 4 nukes going over the winter, right? And then I got the other 4 nukes. I ended up with 8. So it just happens.
Yeah. Luckily, real quick.
Luckily, the second winter was much better, and I came out of the second winter with 12, in deep, at least a single deep plus. So much better situation than 4 overwintered nukes, right? So
I'm reading Garrison. He said Washington is looking at over 50% loss this year. The person I'm getting bees from this year lost 500 hives, and a number here have lost over 3,000. Holy shit.
Yeah, and
that's a lot.
You figure with all the great minds they have out there, this kind of tells me they don't really dedicate much resource to it. I mean, let's talk about COVID. We'll probably get banned from YouTube, but COVID, wow, they came up with a vaccination in like a few months, right? To treat the whole planet. Vaccination, a few months. That was done, tested, ready to go. But they can't kill hive beetles, and they can't kill varroa mite.
Yep. Well, and with the whole thing about first year too, like having a mentor is key, because I went out and worked bees with my mentor this last weekend, and I was able to look in the hives and able to find the queen with him, and he was showing me what the beetle larva looks like.
Were you able to put your hands on frames and stuff?
Yeah.
That's good. Actually, with my mentor, I was going out for months and never touched one until he felt that I was ready. He didn't want me to mess up his bees, which I understand. It's his money, his investment, his livelihood. Makes sense.
And and my mentor, John, he's like, all right. He's like, grab the frame. He's like, just pull it out straight. because he's like, dude, you'll roll your bees and your queen could be there and you'll kill her.
You saw it. I did it in the video. I ripped open a queen cell in a video a couple months ago.
Yeah. And that was nice for him to say, no, lift. And he's like, do it slow. And I was observing my mentor too another time where he was working his bees and he moves very slow. It's not a fast process, you know, going in your hive and flipping open the lid and knocking it. No, don't do that.
It is something that it takes practice, and you're going to get that practice when you get your own bees and you start getting into colonies. You know, how do you know that a swarm bucket is going to get jammed full and you're going to be cutting all the comb out? Well, maybe if you leave it out in the middle of the woods for weeks, right? I mean, I've seen your videos. You've got them on the corners of your apiary in your yard. You're going to see them. If there's bees that move in your swarm traps, you're going to know about it. And they're going to move immediately from there to where their new location is.
Yeah, I got my bee boxes sitting in my bee room. I'm not going to sit my crap out because I don't want it stolen, because people steal your gear here in Texas. So once the bees come, that's when I'm going to put my gear out there. And again, I'm putting out another trap today after this live stream's over. I'm going to go down by a river here. I don't live too far from the water. And one of my buddies here has some property, and I asked if I could set a trap on his property by the water. He's like, hell yeah, come on. You know,
right, so everybody's situation's different. Like, I'm just looking at the chat. Sarah's got 3 degrees with a chance of snow on Friday.
Yep.
I know Lee's down in Louisiana, so he's probably got pretty warm temperatures right now.
Yep.
Obviously, Daniel's in Washington, and they're having bad losses and probably cold weather there too.
Yeah.
And you and I have had 8-degree, temperatures in the mid 80s already.
But this week, Friday, it's going to drop down in the 50s and at night to 29 again. But the weather after that, it's going to start picking up 70, 80 degree days, but there's still a 40 to 35 degree difference between the daytime and nighttime average. You want the average temperature at day and night to be between 15 and 20 degrees difference, because that's going to make the bees work longer.
Well, what I like to see is if the nighttime temperature is, I like to see mid 50s and higher, because that's when the bees would normally be out flying here, right?
That's what John's telling me.
58, they're out flying. So I know that if it's 85 in the day and 50s in the nighttime, they're still active and doing things. I had put out a long video yesterday with the dual GoPros, and it was showing a colony that as the brood are hatching, that they're backfilling it with pollen. Yeah. So it's 3 deeps. So I'm conflicted on what to do with that colony. My spider senses say, A, either put on a honey super, or B, just split it. But I know this weekend I've got cold weather coming again, right? For a couple days at night. So it's like, just don't know what's the best way to go right now. So I'm not going to do anything until after the weekend, when that 30-degree temperature is gone. Then I'll try to make some changes.
In April, we'll have another cold snap too at some point. Like mid-April, we get a cold snap.
Yep.
A real short one.
So hopefully by that time that they've had, the rest of March, maybe one brood cycle in there to hatch some brood out and make things right. Yeah. The problem is that can be a double-edged sword, because we will have a few days in the 70s before the weekend and it turns cold. And if they're ready to swarm, they'll swarm. I mean, I'm seeing on the local groups here where people
they're swarming right now.
Are swarming already here in March. So
we had the Algeritas start opening up here. So that's a sign for us here in Texas when the Algeritas bloom. That's our first pollen source for bees here. It's Algerita, and I think the goldenrod is next, right after the Algerita.
Well, I'm worried about that one colony. I mean, I could press them all down in a box of, I don't know. I don't want to overthink it. Yeah. Because then I end up thinking that something's a good idea when it's not. Or ends up not being. It's one of two ways. Either you look like a genius and everything worked out perfect like you wanted, or it just didn't. And that's kind of where I'm at with my split so far this year. It just didn't do like it's supposed to. I mean, even when you shake bees in, extra bees, and you give them queen cells, and they start tearing down the queen cell, and there's no queen there. I mean, what do you do? I mean, they just didn't want the queen or a queen. I don't know. So I've had the same luck when I purchased queens too, that the colonies have typically just destroyed them. And
I just found that out from Boone's Bees yesterday. I had a good talk with him over the phone, and he was saying he'd bought some queens out of Seguin, Texas, and he's like, dude, they only lasted me a year. He's like, they went to shit after a year. You know,
I've had some.
Like, that's a bummer.
Local Carniolans I bought from a bee distributor, and they didn't last 6 months, dude. They were like squat.
See, and why I want to trap local bees, why I want to trap local genetics is because I know there's colonies out here that are 20 years old, no doubt,
right?
That are hidden. What kind of genetics are those carrying? You know,
all right. So the question for that is, how do those colonies? This is what we need to look at. How do those colonies make it with hive beetles and varroa mite?
Genetic not a mutation.
We put them in a box, and they can't fight it. Is it something that we're doing that's changing that dynamic?
That's a good point, man.
You know, if they can live in a tree or in a church column or all these different things, I mean, you think hive beetles can still get in. You would think definitely mites can get on the bees.
Yeah.
Right. But how can they survive? Or are they just so great in size that when their bees die?
I love my dog, Sarah. I found him. I found him on the street.
Or are they just so great in numbers that the colony death inside that happens is just, it happens and they just live with it?
Yeah.
He got the little.
He doesn't like his feet touched. Yeah, he hates his feet touched. I always tell people he's smiling.
That's funny.
But yeah, and you know, my mentor took me out to a tree out here, kind of where we live, right along the river, and he pointed to it. He's like, "See that tree right there?" He's like, "That tree is full of Africanized bees." He's like, from about right there, he's like, watch, and you could see where the bees were flying in. He's like, that it goes up about 3/4 of the way, and it's about a 60-foot tree. He's like, that tree is full of bees right there. And he's like, that colony has been there for 10 years that I've known about it, for sure. And the guy who showed it to me, I don't know how long he had known about it. You know, so what does that tell you? The bees are doing it without us, you know, and they're flourishing.
Is there something we're doing that's, you know, here's an idea. You know, I think a lot. I'm a thinker. And why is it that when we smoke, you know, use a smoker, that there couldn't be an OA like powder in there that you're actually smoking your bees with OA?
Oh man, that'd be cool.
When you're smoking them. So you're actually treating them every time you go in there. And they're not I mean, yes, it would be probably a minute type of dose, but at the same time, you are, you know, still puffing OA on them. I think it more, I mean, sometimes when I hit them with OA, they got white powder all over them.
Kenny Dykes here in Dallas, 24 snow ice forecasted Friday night, 80 next Wednesday. Yeah, same down here in South Texas, Kenny. So we're looking at some cruddy weather here for the next couple of days on Friday, just same as you. Looks like.
We've got Saturday is 63 with 24 as a low here. Sunday is 56 with 34. And then starting Monday, it's like 68 and 46. So that's still, it's all right. And then 71, 49, 73. But by next Thursday, we're back in the 80s again, 80s and 50s. So that's why I'm hesitant to make these splits, because what I've been having happen, best I can tell, is
y'all hit that like button, man.
I do the split, and then the bees can't keep the brood that I've put in there warm. And so a lot of those brood are dying, and you know, maybe they're making a queen and not really keeping her as warm as she needs to be, you know, and then she dies and they like just tear her down. It's been kind of challenging right now, But then I look at my mentor's YouTube videos on South Carolina Happy Bees, and he's making splits daily, just about, you know.
Yeah.
His thing is, he don't mess with, what is that, snowman?
Yeah, it's a snowman.
Don't mess with the snowman. That's funny.
He growls like a gremlin, man. I love my dog. He's awesome.
Yeah. That's funny. Just don't mess with the toy.
Yeah, so that's my toy. Okay, you bought it for me. You can't have it. Okay, it's mine.
But yeah. So the main thing is I just don't want to waste any more brood at this point because I've thinned them out. So that's when I started thinking, well, do I buy some packages? Do I buy some nukes? You know, it's one of those. It's a risk either way. You know, it's just. And that goes back to what we started at the beginning. Everything is so expensive when you start doing it in numbers. If you're doing one or two, not a big deal. You buy 10 of those strips are like $30 or something. That not a big deal. You know, when you start doing.
You asked me earlier what would be my first question as a new year. How much is it going to cost? Oh yeah, and then what's the question? Well, it depends how you go. If you're going on. Are you going on 5 frames, 8 frames, 10 frames? Are you going poly? Are you going plastic? Are you using wood frames? Are you going foundationless? Are you using foundation? You know, there's tons of questions, right? How are you going to treat your colonies? Are you going to use OA? Are you going to, you know, what do you mean? I got to treat my colonies? I thought you just put bees in the box. Oh no, you're going to have to treat them for varroa mite and then hive beetles, and you know, how are you going to keep the wax moths out? And you know, so I've been lucky. I'm going to say no to the OAV. I won't attribute it to the OAV. I'll attribute it to the fact that maybe I wasn't as diligent and they were already too far gone when I hit them with the OAV. I haven't noticed any effects of the OAV actually making a colony die. However, you know, like a few weeks ago, I was talking, I opened up a colony and I found 4 bees with deformed wing virus on it. And I immediately blasted it with OAV the same day, twice. I hit it real hard, very first colony, and then I waited till the end and I hit it last again with another big dose of OAV, and they're doing fine. So no, I won't say OAV has caused me to lose a colony. I've never used this before. I saw the sideline beekeeper, Craig, and I always forget his last name, use Apivar strips. So I bought some to use my colonies and in my colonies, and I just got them yesterday, so I haven't put them out yet. And you know, I've never used these before. So it's going to be a trial and error. My thing was sometimes overkill is a good thing on some things, you know, like for us as hive beetles. Hive beetles are the bane of my existence. And Hillbilly Beekeeper said, put peppermints in the colony. Just regular old round red and white peppermints in the colony. Break them up though.
And I didn't. I ended up not. I just put one in each corner of each box.
Okay. I think if you use too much, your bees will abscond. I've heard that kind of recently. Like, hey man, one of my friends did this and he lost all his bees, but he used too much. It's like he put one candy in each corner. That's what I did. I put one candy in each corner and one right in the center by the pollen patty, because that's where the hive beetles like to go, to the pollen patty. So you put a whole candy in each corner of the box. Each corner. Okay. Yep. Okay. And now this was on my strong colonies, right? Okay. So my strong colonies. It works, Sarah. Yeah, watch my video from yesterday. It's long, but you'll see I went through every frame on 2 GoPros. You can see what I'm looking at. I did not see one hive beetle in either of those colonies. So, which is unusual. Very unusual. Okay. Now, we did do a little cost analysis, right? We were talking about it anyway. So peppermint is an inexpensive way to treat. So far from what I've seen, you know, you buy a bag at $6.
but the peppermint goes away quick because the bees eat it, and then you have to replace it. So you're constantly redoing it. I actually, Kenny, I put the peppermint on the corner of each box on the outer frames on the corners is where I put it. The beetle traps, the oil traps, I've used them. The problem with the oil trap is when you inspect the colony, you take the oil trap out. Now, where do you set that oil trap? It doesn't stand up. It's tapered. So then you got to, or you'll forget and knock the oil in the colony.
Your grandkids like the peppermint too.
Yeah.
Better buy 2 bags in, one for the kids, one for the bees.
And you know, but it worked. It did work. I'll say in those colonies, there were no beetles yesterday that I went through. And the bigger colony, I actually did put the hive traps. I put 3 oil traps in it, 1 in each box, kind of 1 in the middle, 1 in each end of the corner. So depending what box they were in. But the thing with the oil traps are, they're $1. I'm going to say $1.75 a piece, right? So that's $5.50 or something like that. 3 and $1.50. That's $4.50. About $5.25 for that colony. And then the oil was the bottle was $6 at Walgreens, 6 and some change. So you know,
the peppermint essential oil.
Yeah,
maybe doing that on some Q-tips even or something and putting them in the corners as well.
So I don't know if it's just the smell or if it's the peppermint itself, or maybe the oil will do it. They make a food grade peppermint oil that people use for baking.
Yep.
So half of me was thinking, well, maybe when I mix the pollen patty up, that I just put a little bit of peppermint flavor or the peppermint syrup oil in it. And
dude, I think you might be onto something there. Put a couple drops in there, not even just overdo it. Just put a couple of
just mix it in the whole batch, right? And, and then put it in.
Measure your dosage and see what dosage works the best. You know, do like, I don't know how the cooking peppermint is. I guess it's coming in a bottle or something.
Yeah, it comes in a bottle, but it's not cheap. But I mean, it's if it works, it works, and then that's the main thing. It's cheaper than buying bees.
Yeah, having a slime out and having your bees die.
Oh my God, it's the nastiest thing ever. But you know, it's something I'm probably going to try on the next. I've lost some bees. It was a rookie mistake.
I'm trying to be as preventative as possible in the process to prevent anything. You know, I know I'm not going to stop the process, but as long as I can be productive and preventative in it.
Well, just this year. Look at the things I've done just this year that you and I have talked about. I put down diatomaceous earth. I've put down gardening cloth. I've put down wood chips. So the beetle cannot get back down through to the ground to reproduce, right? Mm-hmm. I've used peppermint. I've put oil traps in some. So I've used oil traps before, and I've used the Swiffer sheet. The Swiffer sheet does catch them, but it doesn't stop them from coming in the colony. It doesn't run them out of the colony. They can still do a bunch of damage before they ever get caught, right? On there. But the Swiffer sheet does work. I mean, I've caught a bunch of beetles on Swiffer sheets, but when you look at those Swiffer sheets and you see just how many beetles are on there, man, how much damage could they have done? Or how much resources did the bees have to allocate to chasing those beetles around the colony when they should have been building comb, stores, foraging, you know, all kinds of stuff they could have been doing instead of chasing beetles around.
It's like that energy consumption could have went to producing honey instead, or, you know,
something.
Tending to larvae.
My question is, it's a global fact that the bees are in shortage, right? It's been well documented. The bees are in decline. The bees
still
are
in decline,
in shortage. Why haven't they come up with something for this? Why haven't they figured it out? Are they not trying to figure it out, or is it just taking so long to see the long-term effects of stuff? Which is funny. They can make the COVID vaccination in a few months and don't care about the long-term effects. It's what it does for you now, right?
Well, usually and how do you say it? Insects are usually going to be the first ones to feel the brunt of what we've done. Overgrazing, pesticides, herbicides, they're going to be the first ones to feel it, not us.
Right. It's trickle down, right?
Yeah, it is. It really is. The insects, the small species on the food chain, guess who's going to feel it first? Not us. You know, sad to say.
Yeah, there are so many variables. How wet is it outside? Is the ground too hard for the beetles to go in? Mm-hmm. You know, we've got sandy type soil over here where I'm at, so it's probably not very hard for them to get down in. So
we have packed like limestone sand here. You know, but I'm not going to take any risks. I've already done all the preventative for my bees. Laid down the wood chip. I got barriers down, and then eventually I'm going to brush the wood chips back, and I'll go lay diatomaceous earth under the wood chips. You know.
Yeah, it's something you just got to.
Canary in a coal mine.
That's exactly right, Sarah. It's just like you don't know it's an issue till it's an issue, and then it's too late.
Yeah.
Yep. I found, man, if you guys haven't seen the Game of Drones video I've got out when hive beetles attack, you know, take a few minutes to go watch that. You'll see a bucket of what hive beetle larvae look like in slimed out comb.
It's like be preventative in the military. You were taught to PMCS your trucks weekly, right. Sometimes daily. Go out, preventative maintenance checks and services.
Yes, but we want to keep nothing wrong with it. That's why you're doing it, right?
We want to keep nothing wrong with it. Keep them in mission status all the time. That way they're ready to go. Same with the bees, man. You gotta be
you gotta stay on top of it.
Productive. You have to be proactive and productive in it.
Well, my first year of beekeeping, I had no plan.
Yeah, I have a plan.
You have a plan. That's good.
That's the biggest thing too. Any first years, have a plan. 100%.
My plan was get bees, put them in a box, watch them grow, split them, watch them grow, split them, get a lot of honey. You know, that was kind of the plan. Even though I watched like every YouTube video I could see on beekeeping.
Yeah, don't expect honey your first year either.
Yeah, it's much more than just putting the bees in a box.
That was what Heroes to Hives taught us too. Hey, it's not just putting bees in a box, dude. You know, and if there's veterans out there that are watching, there's a class available for you if you want to learn beekeeping. Okay. And it's free. It's funded by private donors. It's an awesome class. And again, it didn't teach me everything, guys. And it's just a foundation, man.
Basic knowledge of this is a queen. This is
very basic. And being out in the yard with my mentor, another thing, again, a mentor. The fact that I had my mentor there allowed me to work and go through his colonies. What I feel good about too is being able to identify the queen not being marked. Like I was able to find the queen, and a black queen at that, you know, and they're hard to spot.
You know, you'll look in my videos. If you see a marked queen, that's one that I got from my mentor. It's not mine. And we talked about this the first year. You know, I thought, this looks easy. Use a one-hand tool. Mm-hmm. I figured out after spending $30 several times on new queens that the marking has nothing to do with the bees. The marking has to do with you. So for me, marking a queen, I've had a queen fly off. I've had a queen. I decapitated a queen in the one-hand queen catcher. I mean, you want to feel like crap your first year of beekeeping, and you know this queen is so important to this colony, and you just cut her head off in a one-handed, you know, it's demoralizing to you and the bees to the extent. But, you know, it just came to the point to where, for me, I didn't need to mark them. Now, if somebody's buying a bee, I've never sold a bee, but if somebody were to buy bees and ask me, I would mark it because they like to, well, how do I know how old this queen is? Well, there's a little bit of trust there. I'm telling you, this queen just hatched and it just started laying. It's this year's queen. If you want to mark it.
Yeah.
The problem is that it doesn't do any good for me to kill a queen and, you know, kill a queen and have it marked so I can see it in a hive and risk killing it. I mean, I just let it go. I mean, just let it do its thing. You'll be able to tell. Most time I don't see the queen. And I'll be able to tell if it's doing anything. Well, there's eggs. She was laid yesterday or today.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, she's in there and working. And you will see her occasionally. You go, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
And
She got the big old booty on her. That's how you find her.
She got the big booty.
Yeah, she got a big old booty on her.
But
that's how I spotted her. I was like, where's the booty on her? You know, and once you see that big long booty on her, that's the best way, really. Look at the abdomen.
Man, I'm surprised Hillbilly Beekeeping hadn't shown up.
Yeah,
he's usually in for these things.
Must be busy today.
Must be hillbillying.
And Sarah, how are you doing with your bees? How are they looking for you?
First question is, how long, Sarah, have you been keeping bees?
Yeah, that's a good question. How long you been? Is this first year, second year, third year? Yeah, the queen does move a little quicker, right? She's got a little boogie on her, right? I kind of noticed that too. She's got some step in her.
Yep, definitely. Prevention is better than the fix.
Very cool, Sarah. 4th year. Awesome. Right on.
Yeah, you're ahead of me. Look at you. So it's all about, you know, and I watched Brooklyn's video yesterday. He said he's getting ready to have a new baby. So congratulations to you, Brooklyn, on your new baby coming.
Right on, Brooklyn.
He said that he didn't know if he was going to have time to do the expansion that he was wanting to do this year with the new baby coming. And I respect that.
Kenny Dykes, I'm fixing to have a 1-year anniversary of keeping bees, 10 colonies. I have yet to see a queen, so I always look for just eggs. That's it.
Yep.
And if you see an egg, dude, your queen's been there. A fresh egg, she's been there within 24 hours.
You know, even for YouTube, I do a more in-depth hive inspection, right? I'm going frame by frame by frame. Yes, I know the videos are insanely long. But typically, if I'm not doing something on YouTube, if I see eggs in there, I pretty much close the box back up and let them go.
Yeah.
There's no need to continue. I mean, there's a queen in there somewhere. I don't need to see her. She's doing her thing. She probably prefers that I don't see her, you know, and just let her do her thing. But yeah, it's just exciting. This time of year is exciting. Just trying to, you know, I'm a little bit. Any of you guys know the people at Better Bee? I'm a little disgruntled with them right now. Just to let you know, I said in one of these lives that I was looking to buy some bee equipment, some honey equipment, and I had already sent in a quote for shipping and on this equipment, and they never responded back to me. So I called them after a week. I was like, hey, I never got an email saying what to expect and you know, what the price could be and all this other stuff. And just said, oh, well, we apologize. The guy that talked to you is out on vacation this week, but I will forward this information to the next person and get them on it. Great. Thank you. It's been now over a week again, and I still haven't heard anything.
Sounds like the VA.
Still haven't heard anything back from them. And I'm like, do you guys want this $5,000? I mean, if you don't want it, I mean, I could go to Data Ant or Kelly or Man Lake or somebody else and buy from them. But this is the equipment I want, you know, just, if you know them, tell them, hey, do something, get to work. Where'd Thomas Honey go? I almost called his real name out. But yeah, so I mean, that's the other thing. I've noticed a 2-week time on Man Lake to get anything. So I try to buy local as much as possible, but they're having a little bit of a hard time getting some stuff like pollen sub. They didn't have any of that. I had to order it. They didn't have the big packs of Apivar, so I had to order that. But yes, I'm a smoker. Go ahead, everybody. Smoking's bad for you. It's coming. Smoking's bad for you. You need to quit smoking. I hear it all the time. But
yeah, I quit about 4 years ago. I took Shantix because I tried quitting so many times. I was smoking a pack a day, dude, like chain smoker.
I
finally took Chantix, man.
And every time the VA would give me nicotine patches, and every time I'd end up in the emergency room.
Oh, really? Too much, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, those patches are strong, man.
End up in the emergency room. So I tried the vape thing, and I didn't like that. It tastes like I had oil in my mouth all the time. So just didn't do it. But so what's your plan in the short term? What's going on? I mean, you're just waiting on bees, or
short term right now, I'm just waiting for the swarms to come in. And I've been watching where these bees are flying off to, and they're coming from all directions, man. They're coming from all directions.
Are you looking at buying any colonies at all, or are you just?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy a nuke probably from my mentor. He's gonna go up to Waco. He's got a beekeeper up there.
Right.
Yeah, he bought some nukes from recently, a couple of years ago, and he said when he bought those nukes, they were ready to split basically by the time he got them home. He's like, I had to split them right away pretty much. So he's getting like really good nukes, and he's like, those are probably some of my best bees that I got from that guy.
Yeah.
So I'll probably end up buying a nuke here, 100%. Yeah, I can't rely on the swarms. I can only make it favorable enough. And what I'm learning is what swarms are looking for typically is dimensions, man. They want space.
Right.
They want space to move in.
And I'm like I said, I'm contemplating buying either some nukes or some packages, or maybe a mix. Thing is, nukes are about $200, maybe a little bit less than $200.
I think I'll get 190 for mine. So yeah, $200.
And then I'm seeing like 130, 135 ish for packages. Now the benefit of the nuke, obviously, is you're gonna have some drawn comb in there already, right? So that's good. That's not really an issue for me because I've got some drawn comb now after a few years. So looking at possibly just going the package route and using some of my existing foundation.
Sarah, that's how it should be done. You should only have to buy bees one time.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that.
Or once. That's what Heroes High said.
If you do it
right,
belief, right? I'm like, well, I buy the one, I just make splits, and I'm good. But then you're kind of genetically inbreeding, the whole time, right? So, which can be good if you've got good traits in your bees.
Yep.
But I was looking at maybe every year buying a couple.
Oh, Kenny Dykes. I bought 5 unassembled nuke boxes from Dedant last fall, and they all had to be modified to assemble. Some joints were 3/8 of an inch off from a lining.
Yeah, I think what they do is they cut all these things and they set them on the pallets, and then the pallets, like, they dry and warp and twist a little bit, and they just don't go together. I mean, I've had to hit them with a hammer to get them back, get them to go into place and everything too.
So Lee says 150 nuke last year, this year 165. Okay.
So nukes around here are going for like 185. My mentor sells them for 185. And that's his whole gig. His whole gig is raising nukes and selling nukes, and he does pretty good. He probably sells he's a retired, he's a disabled vet, not a retired vet, but he probably sells 100 nukes a year, and at 185, that's an extra 19 grand, 18.5, something like that, extra in his pocket. And at some point, you do have to start, even if it's not your goal. I mean, I at some point have to look at how bees can generate their own sustainability, right? I can't continue to drop thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in without. Everybody's kind of went up on their wood gear because of the price. There was a place.
Wait till gas prices go up.
And
see how much the product's going to be.
I think it was Florida. I'm leaning over to type on another computer here if you can't see me.
Kenny Dykes, I've noticed Dedant is actually like one of the more expensive beekeeping supplies.
Let me see if I can find something here for you.
I get all mine from Texas Bee Supply, man. You get anything over $50, you get free shipping from Texas Bee Supply.
You know what? I don't know why it shows this on here, but Blythewood Bee Company gets their boxes from a company called South Florida Bee Supply. I don't know if you have to buy them in bulk or what? Let me search the web for South Florida bee supply.
That's how they usually do them. You buy them in bulk, you get them cheaper. Say you buy 100 at a time, instead of them costing $20 a box, maybe it'd be like $14 or $15 a box, $16 a box.
Well, they have a terrible website, I'll tell you that much. But all right, so their commercial 10 frame deeps are $15 on their website right now as we look, as we sit. That's
where are you at? Daniel's up in Washington. I'm sorry.
Who knows how much shipping is on these things, but their nukes are $12. 5 frame deep nuke, $12. Nuke boxes. Now I've had pretty good luck with this woodenware. I'm gonna tell you what, I get lazy. When I bought those, the 50 supers and the 25 deep boxes that I've got outside, had they had them assembled, I would have just bought them right out, because they only charge $2 a box, and for me, $100 extra bucks to put 50 boxes together, done. I'd have just bought them all built, put together. I wouldn't have had to do anything, but instead it took me a couple days. Hey Brian, welcome back. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, well, I don't know. When I started, I always think big, right? I try to think big, where I want to be one day, the long-term plan. The problem I have is I think I'm getting to the point that my property has almost as many bees as I can have on it without it just being annoying to everybody else that lives here, right?
Yeah.
So you come out the back door, you get greeted by bees, Yeah. You're trying to mow the grass, you're getting greeted by bees.
I got a question. Do you guys have Africanized bees up in South Carolina?
No, not yet. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Some of mine might be. You've seen some of them.
Yeah, a little hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little spicy.
I opened up a colony last week, and I just cracked it, dude. They just started flowing out of the top, and I closed it back, and they had already started like evacuating the front. They were like bearded on the front. I was like, really? I'm just trying to give you some pollen sub,
Yeah.
It's but these boxes are pretty nice, from Florida, this Florida bee supply, South Florida bee supply is the name, and they have cheap boxes. Let me see, 8 frame deep is $15.
For 10 frame deep with frames, I'm paying assembled like $60 out of Texas.
With frames, see,
with frames, yeah. Found it, and they're wax coated too. But
the boxes are wax coated.
No, the frames are.
Okay, so, and the most of that expense is those frames, because they're probably definitely the frames. So when I went to
the frames, if you buy them separately, it's like $20 for a box of frames. $30 for a box of frames.
The foundation, like my first year, I bought 100 frames, actually more than 100 frames from Man Lake unassembled, and I put them together and I strung them up. And you know what? That's a lot of work. Putting together
I just buy them assembled.
Bunch of frames, and then I bought some of the Acorn triple wax foundation and put that in some of them, and that was quicker.
What have you had? What have you had the best results with so far?
Well, you know what? The new ones that I just bought, they're doing pretty good on those for the time of year it is. And I had good luck with the Acorn. However, there's people that swear by foundationless, and my mentor uses the fishing line, and you see some of mine have the fishing line. Better be awesome. Lee, better be, man.
See, fishing line
with them right now. I'm not happy with Better Be. I mean, I'm trying to give them money, and they're trying not to take it for some reason. I don't know why. They just don't want to give me the quote on the gear. I don't know if it's taken everybody a long time to say how much does this cost to ship this much weight to this zip code.
Have you called?
Yeah, I called them already, and they're like, "Oh, well, the guy that took your quote was on vacation this week, so I'm going to give it to somebody else so they can do it."
Why don't you call him back, man? I keep calling him every day. I
not
call him 3 times a day.
Yeah, but see, this is when the asshole in me comes up. Yeah. At some point, I'm like, I'm trying to give you guys thousands of dollars.
You apparently don't want my money. I guess I'll go somewhere else and shop for the supply. That's what you need to tell them. Be like, hey, I'm trying to give you guys a good chunk of money here for some equipment. And if you guys don't want it, I'll happily take it somewhere else. And they'll be like, oh, no. We'll take care of it. I guarantee you do it that.
I mean, I'm trying to expand to some other companies. Like Blue Sky. I just haven't found something on Blue Sky that I have to have, you know. Better Be, I like the licensed equipment. They're the only distributors, so I guess it is cheaper. So
are you gonna make your own gear, Brian? Are you start making your own?
A local guy that makes it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I wish I had the machine. There's a place in Mexico that has the machine that they just put the wood in and it like does everything. I'm like, man, that's awesome. If I had a big CNC machine, that's what I'd make, B-boxes.
Right. Easy, huh, man? That thing would be precise every time, dude.
Just laser. As long as they're assembled right after you cut them, right? Because other than that, the wood's going to have time to cure and dry out, and it's going to do its thing. It's going to twist.
Yep.
I mean, I still have that. I still get that problem. They're like, oh, make sure it's square. Doesn't matter if the whole thing like bows or something, you know.
One thing I have had issues with Texas Bee Supply is when they're shooting their staples and nails, they're shining them through on the other side. That's one thing I've noticed.
Yeah, I've had that happen. Stuff shoot through, like it hits something and curves in.
But I've ordered something small from them. They call and tell me they can ship cheaper and refund the difference to me. Nice, man. Free money is good money. Money back is always nice.
But I mean, how much money are we talking here? I mean, I'm trying to do this on the other computer, so let me see.
Oh, nice, Brian. He'll do boxes for 12. Box, but only local. Nice, dude. Then Greg will dip them. Right on, man. Yeah, you can't beat that, man. Be as resourceful, as many resources as you can use, man. Why not?
All right, so.
Oh, there's Casey Dooley.
Now he shows up. Yeah, when we were giving him all these props on Peppermint, now he shows up. The dramatic entrance.
Dramatic entrance. Oh, we got you, brother.
What's going on, man? So I'm looking at let me see. Where the hell is it? The 30. No, not the bottling tank. I was looking at a 30 frame extractor. Which now, of course, I can't find on the page. 30 frame extractor, not the upgraded one, just the regular one.
Oh, Casey was making a video. Right on. Well, what's your video on? What's it on?
Hey, and I'm upset you haven't made me any bluegrass intro music for my thing. I mean, I know I'm not 628 Dirt Rooster, but throw a brother a bone or something. I'm just picking on you, Casey. It's all fun. But for real, if you do have a chance, you know. Let me see. All right, so the uncapping tank and cover was $961. So that's, you know, with tax, that's $1,000, right? The tabletop steam uncapper is another $500, so that's $1,500. And then the 30 frame extractor is $2,000.
Wow.
So
beekeeping is not a cheap hobby, guys.
How much was you? Do you remember what how much the 20 frame was? The 20 frame license extractor is $1,284 before shipping, which is what I'm trying to find out about the shipping is when can I get it? And they won't get back to me. And 30 frame extractor is $1,975 before tax and shipping. So I figure probably $5,000 in, right around $5,000. Man. So trying to
imagine how much those industrial extractors cost.
Oh, dude. I love Bob Binney's videos and I love his setup, but I can only imagine how much money that Joker's got tied up in that equipment. I mean, even the bottling,
or Jeff Horchoff. I don't know if Jeff has all his own equipment or if that's the Abbey's equipment. But that guy's got a lot of equipment too, man.
So it's like $2,000 for the 20 frame Dayton. Does it have the motor on top or the bottom? That's one thing I liked about these extractors is they were on the bottom.
It's better to have them on the bottom?
Well, I don't know. It's a belt-driven thing, and it's on the bottom. So the top, there's nothing hanging up. I mean, it's just flexi on it. And the controller off to the side.
It's the Abbey's KC. Okay, cool.
So I did put the link on here. I'll put it again. Because we're just hanging out. I mean, it's my day off. I'm fighting a little bit of a sinus infection. My right eye is like killing me.
Has anybody had any luck swarm trapping in the channel here yet, or no? Anybody? I've been seeing some other people out in California. They're hitting big swarms right now. We just don't. There's not enough resources here in Texas yet for them to swarm. There's no pollen out.
I've seen some posts up in like the local group here of some swarms. Mm-hmm. There he is. You got your earbuds in? He's getting them. I saw him put the hand up like, let me get my earbuds. But, hey, funny enough, I don't hear any feedback right now.
Because I'm not talking.
No, usually it's us coming through your speakers, coming back through the microphone.
There it is. I'm starting to hear it.
Dude, your peppermint, I can't say it failed. I can't say it's a failure. There were no hive beetles in either of those colonies yesterday.
Kind of same here, Lee. Scouts out right now.
It really does work, guys. Along with your traps, if you put the peppermint in and you use the traps, they're gone. They're history.
Well, I literally didn't see any in the colony. Not like one or two, none.
When Casby Coleman first shared that with me, I was, like everybody else, it just sounds too easy to be true. But then you start using it, and like I said, I Googled it. You can Google it, and Google will tell you, what you say. What does a beetle hate most? And they'll say peppermint oil. And I always wondered, Dr. Jamie Ellis, I'm not throwing him under the bus or anything, but he is like the beetle guru. He has to know that peppermint is the thing they hate the most if Google does. And I always wonder why nobody promotes it or anything,
Well, Casey, what Bob had brought up was getting like the cooking peppermint, the stuff for cooking, and actually incorporating that into the pollen patties.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't see that as being any different than like when Bob and I crush it up and sprinkle it over top of our pollen patties and put them in. Mm-hmm. When you do that, they don't go in it. They're like, peppermint.
They probably smell it too coming in the hive, I would think. Like they pick it up or something, and they're like, yeah, no.
And when those bees feed them, they'll tickle the bees and trick them into feeding them. They're like, peppermint. Mm-hmm. So they're just like, get me out of here. They hate it.
16 ounces of peppermint essential oil on Amazon with Prime is $25.
Okay, peppermint and sugar water. Kenny Dykes, I think you're onto something there too, man.
Yeah, man.
100%.
You can make your own candy.
Yeah, that's basically what peppermint is sugar and peppermint, right?
High fructose corn syrup with some peppermint.
Kenny, I think you're onto something there, man. I really do.
I see it anywhere from $25 to $30 for 16 ounces, 1 pound of essential oil. But
I've researched it, and the research that I gathered from it is peppermint oil in no way matches any bee pheromones whatsoever. So it's nothing against the bees. And its active ingredients are rosmarinic acid and menthol. And I've heard of that scientific beekeeper guru guy. What's his name? Everybody knows him but me.
Benny?
Oliver something. Something Oliver.
Randy Oliver. Randy.
That's yeah. He uses a menthol eucalyptus and a few other oils, spearmint oils and
Sinuses
stuff.
will be cleared at least.
But it's actually, I think that menthol and rosmarinic acid, if nothing else, the menthol. So, if he's using eucalyptus leaves, which is more of a pure form of menthol, I'm thinking, they're working the
Same
same.
thing.
But the good thing about the peppermint is it's mild and it just doesn't hurt. You can watch those bees, man. They'll be like peppermint, and it's gone. And even if it melts, it's getting into that wood and smelling it up and keeping those beetles. When they run to those corners where you put it, they're like, ah.
So even when you can't smell it, they can still smell it.
Yes, sir.
So I'm wondering if, there's all kinds of different ones. The food grade one is, all right. So here's Lab Bulk's Peppermint Essential Oil 16-ounce bottle 2-pack. So you're getting 32 ounces for $40.
Oh, that's not bad. And that's the cooking oil, right? The cooking peppermint.
This just says essential oil.
Okay.
But they do have some food grade ones, or
I think
pharmaceutical grade.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It'd probably be better for the pharmaceutical grade for the bees. Get like the actual cooking.
And another question, Bob, I don't say this out loud much because I don't want the feedback from it. I'm not saying it does anything for varroa mites, but have you noticed an increase in varroa mites since you started using it? No.
I will
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
I will be the guy that everybody hates as far as
put them, Sarah. You put them in the corners.
I don't shake bees. I don't put them in the little trap and shake them and kill them and count them. I just treat them. And my thought, yes, I don't know how it declined. I don't know. I can't track that. But what I can say is, if the bees are alive, that the mites are dead or dying or at a controllable amount.
You're not seeing the viruses and things associated with them either, so that's a good sign,
Hey, Hillbilly, Sarah was asking how the method on the candy. Do you want to let her know how that works, man?
Yeah, up here where I'm at, we can break it in half and break it in quarters, but down south where Bob's at, and even further where it's more of a problem, you can use the whole pieces.
Okay.
Ideally, I like to place it in all of the corners of every level coming up. So on my screen board, on the top of my brood, and on the top of my super. And if I've got a feed and shim on top of it, I'll put it up there too, because they love to go up there and hide from the bees. And even though the bees can't get to it, they can. And then they're gone. They're, like he said, you look and you just don't see them no more. And I remember when you used to open those hives, you was like, hive beetles. And now it's, I got to look for them.
The video yesterday, the live I did yesterday, there was no, I was using the premiere. I used 2 GoPros, right? So you can see the frames.
Yes,
there were no beetles.
And it's not my idea. An old man, which he's passed away and gone now, my old mentor, Casby Coleman, lives up in the holler called Greenbrier, right hand fork of Greenbrier. He's the guy that taught me about that, using the peppermint candy.
And he's probably generational too, huh? That guy.
Oh yeah. His boy's still up there keeping them.
And don't get us wrong, we're not saying not to use anything else but peppermint.
Right. No, not at all.
In addition to your other stuff, use some peppermint, and it helps. Because
we
don't want anybody to say, well, they said that just
it's
going
to 100% sure it's going to work. No, it might not.
In my video that I made, I tell everybody, use the peppermint oil in conjunction with your traps, and you will eliminate the beetles.
Because, like the oil traps?
Yeah, the little beetle barns, beetle jails, or the ones you can make out of a CD player or CD cover.
Mm-hmm.
You use those 2 things in conjunction, and I don't care who you are, where you are, you're going to see a significant drop, if not a complete removal of the beetles.
I wish I had a spreadsheet that showed all of the money that I've spent on hive beetle deterrents. Now, I haven't gone big. I haven't bought that $200 Beetle Blaster or Beetle Buster bottom board or none of that. I haven't done that. I can't afford to do that on 20 hives. That's $4,000 plus for 20 hives. And then it's like, well, if you do another hive, then you got to put it in there too, right?
It sure can't, Sarah. What do you have to lose on trying and experimenting?
No, I mean, I was.
What do you have to lose?
I was honestly skeptical when I started it. That's why I didn't go right on and do it immediately.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand that. That's with bees.
Let me tell you this. So, I made all those splits. None of those splits, except for like 3, have bees in them at all right now. And they had hive beetles in them. And I didn't put any peppermint in them until later. And there was still some beetles around in there. And I think that's because there was not the colony strength to run them around and do all the stuff they do with them. But in the stronger colonies that I put that in, they disappeared. Or it was just like 1 or 2. And 1 or 2, when you got 50,000 bees in there, is nothing.
No.
They'll keep them still running around. That is nothing. But if you notice on the videos back in January and February, before I did the peppermint, when I was taking out the Swiffer sheets, you saw how many beetles were stuck to my Swiffer sheets and how many beetles were on the frames. Huge. I took the Swiffer sheets out, obviously, and put peppermints in. But I've got guardian entrances for the main entrance. I've got the little round upper guardian entrance. It's like $10 a piece for those. I spent a couple $100 on those. I've spent money on the other Beetle Traps, and there's still beetles in there. Still beetles. It doesn't matter. I can't get rid of them. But I put peppermint in them, and it could be just a huge coincidence. But the 2 hives that I looked at yesterday had no beetles in them at all. So,
yes, sir.
And how long after, Bob, you put the peppermint in, did you notice the turnaround?
Well, I don't check them every day, right? So it's probably been a couple weeks since I put the peppermint in them. And there was no beetles in it. Matter of fact, the taller colony I went through first yesterday didn't even have peppermint left in it because they ate it all. So
it's not mine. I didn't create it, man. It's a hand down from my mentor.
Edison didn't create electricity, but he got all the notoriety for it. So, hey, I'm saying, buy you a 5-pound bag or a 2-pound bag from Walgreens of some peppermint and try it, especially if you've got big issues like we do down here. I mean, I've got woods all around me, right? So
yes, sir.
It's worth the $5-6 to treat your colonies with some peppermint and run out as many as you can. Now, I think they flew into my nukes, which didn't help them out because I didn't set them up like I should have when I started. But that'll change. That's gonna.
Guys,
change.
I'm gonna go.
I go to the dollar store.
You gotta go.
Take off. Yeah, I'm working with Wounded Warrior Project. I'm trying to get my disability increase, and they fucking lost my paperwork.
Yeah,
man,
that sucks.
Yeah.
God bless you, man.
I'll catch you guys later, man. I have to make this call. These guys will lose my paperwork if I don't. See you guys. Bye.
Thanks. We'll see you next time. We'll keep it going because we got 11 people on here. So hey, if anybody else wants to jump in, I'll put the link back here. We're just having a hangout talking about bees.
We're just people
enjoying life.
Couple hillbilly rednecks talking about bees, ain't we,
That's it. Man, it's been a good year so far. I wish my nukes would have done better, but it is what it is, right? We just do it again and keep it going. And before long, maybe we'll be able to get the I don't know, maybe I'll get some queens, or I'm trying to keep my expenses down this year as much as possible. And I've already spent a bunch of money on boxes and equipment, and I want to get this extracting gear. But
that's where the money's at.
In the honey. The money's in the honey.
Getting the honey out. Yeah, extraction gear.
Oh, yeah. Yep, for sure. I mean, that's why oh my gosh, you're gonna get me on a hive body instead of a soapbox. it's really crazy, the pricing on some of this gear. I mean, I've got a 8-frame extractor. It does 4 deeps, 8 mediums, and it's not terrible. I mean, it extracts honey. The terrible part about it is if you've got more than a couple colonies, it takes forever to extract out your honey. Forever to do a good job.
I don't never have that many. Our thing is a family thing, you know, with my mom, my uncle, my nephews, cousins, and we all kind of just work together at it. And I bought the extractors myself. I've got a regular 2-frame extractor so that, you know, you can keep your certain honey separate from, you know, so you're not just blending them all together. And then I've got that big one that Dr. I can't even say his name, the Russian guy on horizontal hives. I bought that big extractor from him, but I like it because I can do layings or Langstroth with it, and it's just a little more difficult, and you can't do as much as, you know, just one that's made for Langstroth only. But it gives me that option, and I do want to start building me some layings hives and incorporating them into my bee work. I like them. I like Dr. Sharashkin, something like that's his name.
Yeah, I don't know that guy. There's just a bunch of different ways to go at it, right? I mean,
yes, sir.
And one thing, people are quick to say we're doing it wrong on YouTube or whatever, but it's not wrong if it works. It may not work where you're at. You know what I mean? If you're in Canada, something I do down here, first of all, you probably don't have that many hive beetles in Canada. You might, but you know, I'm assuming not.
Right.
Down here, we get a bunch of them. I mean, it's worse than varroa mites to me.
Fred Dunn, I call him Uncle Fred. He doesn't have them, and he's just, you know, up in northwestern Ohio, out around, I don't know, I guess he's around Erie Lake or somewhere around there, close to that, I imagine.
Right.
But you know, they don't have them there. But then you move over to Greg Burns, and he's like, "Yep, we got them."
Brian, I saw Brian's last video. He opened up his poly hive. He had hive beetles in his.
Yeah.
So he said he's going to try the peppermint.
It works, man. It works. I only put that out there to help people. I'm not, you know, obviously I'm not trying to make a big name for myself. I'm Earl the Hillbilly, you know, waha.
Earl Peppermint.
Yeah, then I felt stuff that worked that nobody was doing, so I'm like, man, I'm gonna make a channel and tell people about this stuff. It works. I'm gonna help them. So that's where the burning the frames came in, and the peppermint candy and stuff was just sharing things that, you know, just what it really is, just some old hillbilly secrets that nobody shares much or talks about.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we, as beekeepers, we all pretty much have the same underlying purpose, right? It's to
keep our bees alive,
keep the bees alive, keep them healthy, you know, hopefully propagate the bee species on Earth. Oh, look who we got here.
Yes, sir.
There he is. The
Look
man.
there.
What's up?
Superhero beekeeper.
The man.
Superhero.
love his videos, don't you?
I'm going to use this one's peppermint as soon as I can get back in them.
Dude, if you've seen, I know you probably didn't watch my video from last night, but because it was long, but it was the dual GoPro. I didn't have a single, in the 2 hives I looked at, not a single hive beetle in them.
Oh, wow.
And you've seen my colonies. I'm like, there's a hive beetle, there's another hive beetle. Yeah. And neither one of those had beetles in them at all.
That's the same results I have.
I need you to watch that video when you get a second, because I need your professional opinion.
I ain't no professional.
Well, I need your professional beekeeper opinion, because what I'm noticing, and it's kind of like Mike Berry's video yesterday, when the brood is hatching, they're backfilling it with pollen. I mean, I literally had a cluster of cap brood this big, honey and pollen, around it. I mean, this
Wow.
was like right in the center, and then there was pollen and honey around the top. It's like they're just filling everything in.
Oh wow.
And
Was it that gray maple pollen, honey? The gray honey,
we
or
got
the
it all. We got the great, and I'll have to show you guys because you guys may not get this where you live, but we get the great yellow cloud this time of year.
the bush?
When the pines start letting the pollen out, my black truck, I wash it, the next day it looks yellow, everything, like yellow dusting on everything, which is why my sinuses are acting up right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to split that colony quite yet because we still have a couple 30-degree days coming this weekend at night. And I don't want to do what I did on the last splits and have chill the brood out in the nukes that I split to. But I don't want it to warm up right away and all of a sudden they swarm because they don't have any room left. And I'm going
to have to pause just a minute, guys. My dog's asking me to take her out, so I'm going to take her out. I'll be right back.
All right. But so yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Bob, we had flurries yesterday, and I looked out a little bit ago, and there were little flakes coming down. It's 32 degrees here.
And the day before that, or yesterday, you put out that video where it was nice out, 70
It was
degrees.
74 degrees out.
We've got it's been in the mid 80s, and today it's going to be 73 and 50, and Saturday it's going to be 63 and 24. And then by next Thursday, we're back in the 80s again.
Oh, God.
So when they can get out, they're putting stores in the frames, right? However, I think because of the cold, the queen, it starts ramping up and then she stops. And then she starts ramping up and then she stops. But in the meanwhile, the majority of the colonies storing away all these stores and limiting her room.
I tell you, I was surprised when I opened mine. The amount of pollen that they have packed in some of those frames, I was just like, wow.
Where are they finding it, right? Where's that at?
I have up here right now, I have no clue because there's not a single tree that has an open bloom on it. They're starting to come out, but none of them are open. So I have no clue.
I've got a tree that's got these nice, like, dark hot pink blooms on it.
Oh,
not a single honeybee on the whole tree, but the carpenter bees are killing it. I mean, they're just all over.
Wow, that's so weird.
I thought my bees would be all over that, but they're just not.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just found a better source somewhere. I don't know. But we've got all kinds of bushes open. You can go outside and you smell honeysuckle when you walk outside. And jasmine and
only thing I smell when I go outside right now is cold.
Cold. Like, gee, I need to go back inside. It's too
I said
cold.
I just smell cold.
Well, you guys have your on Greg's channel tonight. You guys got the drop in, right?
Yeah.
So if it's like last time, it'll be what, like two hours long, about 80 people stopping in.
No, he only he's keeping it. I think he's got 7 people. He was going to keep the number down this time just because last time it was just like
a free for all.
Holy Moses. Yeah.
Well, when it started, it was like, it was only going to be 2 or 3 minutes a person. Then you got people like Ian and Cayman and Natalie and all these people coming on. And it's like the time for each person started getting, I think, Fred.
Yep. Yappy, Randy.
I'm glad Fred jumped on. And
do you know who was trying to join and couldn't join because there were too many people that were trying?
Time is Honey was one.
Kaylee Richardson.
Oh, really? Well, I'm glad I got to go first then.
So it's like,
well, it's funny because like with Fred, I actually got to see him different from his own videos.
Yeah.
His own videos to me are very straightforward, almost like he's a professor You got the dog.
Yeah, Becky. She tells me what to do, just like all the
Oh,
girls
yeah.
in my life.
What's
But
up, Earl?
when Fred was on
Hey,
you
buddy.
guys' channel, he was, to me, I saw a different side. And I'll be honest with you, Fred does a lot of long content like I do. And
Yeah.
And I know why people leave my content. It doesn't hurt my feelings. You
I
just don't
don't.
have time to sit there
Yeah.
for 45 minutes. You know what I mean? But when you're looking at Fred's video and you go there and it's an hour and 45 minutes where he's doing question and answers, to me on his videos, he's very monotone and it just doesn't grab me. Nothing against Fred. Don't take this wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh no,
It's
I'm
just,
just the opposite though. That Kevin Costner voice soaks me right in, and I'm just like, or sucks me right in. I can't get away from him.
but when he was on your channel, he was very funny.
He's a riot.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that way until a couple people that met him at the conference, they were like, he is hysterical. And we asked him when we were maybe it was after that stream or even before, we asked him because Greg was like, he said, honest, that was the first time that I sat with somebody that was literally so quick to come back with a response that
he's a genius.
It caught him off guard because Greg was like, I didn't want to look like I was just like a deer in the headlights.
Right.
But Fred said that came from when he served in the military. He said, you're on a ship with hundreds of guys that are constantly cracking on each other.
Yep.
So you got to be like ready to go right now. Somebody has a crack and you're right. You just spit it right back.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
that's not all, man. That dude really is a genius. He was a member of Mensa. He just dropped it because Mensa, he said, costs $400 a month. Now, that's the top 2 percentile in the world.
Oh, yeah, I know what Mensa is. Yeah. I didn't know he was in that.
He said he just couldn't see paying $400 a month.
Well, see, that's
to carry a card in his pocket to show off to everybody.
How
so this man is into so many different types of photography, movie making, painting, histories.
Wow.
He's mind blowing. It's just you cannot keep up with that man. He spent time with Mel Gibson's cook, taking pictures and stuff, and being around, Mel Gibson's cook, and he's done so many cool things.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But
yeah, he's very secretive. He's very private. He's not but it's there. Studied fashion.
Fred is 100% accurate with the being on a ship and being able to come back quick on people.
Yeah.
That's like the whole thing. I mean, we were out at sea for 60, 90 days at a time. And I equated it to being in prison.
Yeah. My stepdad was a Marine.
You were at work, so you worked.
And my father-in-law's a Marine.
When you got done, where was there to hang out? I mean, you hung out with a bunch of guys that were playing cards or wasting time, and there's stories I could tell, but it's absolutely like that. People will say stuff, like one time I saw a guy's picture. I'm like, man, you look just like your dad. He said, that's funny because everybody says I look like my mom. And I'm like, yeah, but I've seen your mother, just like, and it's just becomes conversational, a part of your day. You're just back on somebody.
That's funny.
And it's a fun thing, but you don't see all that all the time. So I was happy to see when he came on you guys' stream.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm gonna have to start watching more of his stuff.
Yeah. Hey, have you guys watched Humberto?
Yes.
I've seen a few of his stuff, a few of his things. I know he's coming on one of your streams.
He'll be on
Humberto
next week.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions for him that you definitely want him to touch on on my community, I have a post on it, and I'm just kind of keep track if anybody has a question, and then I'm going to send them to him ahead. That way, he can work on it, because he said he might even come up with a presentation or something.
Right.
See, I love how you reach out to people, and I'm gonna say it, man. You have done something to the bee community. Yes, you have. You have united the bee community. Without your technology and your abilities and your just cool attitude, just like with Greg and Bruce. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have Stream Team Lives. We wouldn't have all this camaraderie going on. Nobody would know about Earl's Peppermint. They would just be laughing at me. So, to have everybody together, you got a lot to do with that, man.
Well, they do it in a lot of other communities. There are a lot of different collabs like this on other things. So it's nice to see it finally, come to the beekeeping, which, hey, this was an inspiration for us to start doing this. This is just more of a hangout, not a big
Earl, I appreciate that, but like when I started doing lives, oh my gosh, year and a half or whatever ago, it was just to kind of do exactly what we're doing now, just connect people. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's what you did. And thank God for that.
You mean it's not to get all those big YouTube checks that hey, I gotta laugh at that, because last month, hey, this is no joke. Last month, you look at my channel and it grew like 1,000, like it grew a bunch of followers. The viewers was up like crazy, and it was like $20. I'm like, and I think that included a $5 super chat from you, Brian. So
I was in there.
This definitely is not to get wealthy. I mean,
I'm
sure there's people that do much better than us on YouTube, but it's not even about that. It's just about sharing. For me, it's more about documenting what I did this time last year, just a vlog. And if that can help somebody and, get to meet great people like you, Brian, and you, Earl, and Rich, and Greg and Bruce and Mike. I mean, how awesome is that, right?
I can't lie, guys. I'm in love with the bug. I am in love with that bug. I love the bug probably more than most people. Just to be around the bees, to me, the world goes away. And Greg talks about having that chair in the apiary. No, my chair is right beside the hives. I'm watching them come in and out. I'm on top of them. I love it.
You see what I do in mine? I sit right on the stand, and I sit in between them and just watch them, and they'll land on my legs, because I'll wear shorts. I don't, they'll land on my legs and clean themselves off and stuff. And
all right, so Brian, you've been keeping bees.
They do.
This will be my 6th season. Yeah,
right on, Brian.
My 3rd season. Earl, how many seasons have you kept bees?
Altogether on my own, probably 3 seasons. Yeah.
All right. So,
but helping family all my life,
And this is Time Honey's going into his 1st season. So we got all different levels of knowledge.
That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, I'm a multi-generational beekeeper. I can kill them as good as anybody. I don't know any more than anybody else.
Hey, Hillbilly, I told my mentor about scorching the boxes, and he's been doing it for 40 years. He's like, dude, I had no idea. And he's like, that's why when I bought boxes, they were scorched, because 1 is most likely they're sterilizing, and then 2, foul brood.
Well, and the Japanese have been doing that Sugiban method for thousands of years
and it works.
Prolong their
That's why I did it to mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some lady just built a deck out here where I live, did the whole thing like that. Looks so awesome. They went through and scorched the whole deck. Yeah.
They'll Shisuki bomb it, and then they'll just put some kind of mineral-based oil on it over top of it, and they never have to paint them.
Ever again. Ever. Yeah. It pretty much preserves it.
I would if I could. If I could dip those things like Greg does, I like that.
The wax dip?
That. Yeah, I love that wax dip.
And you see what it does? It kind of scorches the boxes too, Hillbilly. You notice that? It puts those burn marks in and sucks all the moisture out and replaces it with wax.
And to me, it's like Dr. Seeley says, it's mimicking that hole in a tree. A hole in a tree is usually because of a lightning strike, and that lightning strike creates the hole or whatever, and bees know that smell. They know that, hey, this is a clean place to live or whatever. I'm just, but paraphrasing from Dr. Seeley.
It's
And
sterilized. Yeah, I would think they smell that bird and like, hey, this is burned. It's
Yeah.
sterilized.
it's
It's
another
clean.
plus.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Look what I did yesterday. You can see it.
Wax
Wow.
render and
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, doggo.
Nice.
Hey, puppy dog.
But you know what? You want to hear the biggest epic fail I've ever done? My wife still wants to kill me for. So
existing. That's why mine made them.
so this guy was rendering beeswax, and spilled the water wax solution onto our wooden floors.
Third seasonly.
Yeah, it's not a good time when
Put
you're
down a
down there with
painter's-
a paint scraper scraping beeswax
Get a painter's
the
cloth,
wood.
man.
wooden floor.
You know what? Hey, Bob, you know what to do?
What's that?
A blow dryer.
Oh,
Just melt
Just
it.
get a rag. Just get a blow dryer. That way it'll soften it. And if it even melts, you could take a paper cloth then.
Just
and
let it
just-
soak it up off of it.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. That's a
Yeah,
good trick.
blow
Thanks, Brian.
You've
Got
been in
wax.
that doghouse before,
Don't
ain't you,
ask me
Brian?
how I know that.
You should see the mess, man.
Yeah, there's nothing clean about rendering
So
beeswax.
to give you,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have seen my place. This is actually my mother's place. She's got Alzheimer's, so we had to move in to take care of her. But when we moved in, the house was kind of in a bad disarray, and this house was built in 1960. So, and there was like the kitchen stopped at the wall, and they like knocked the wall out, and then built the kitchen in where the carport used to be. So the floors never are level, right? They're just going into woodworking here. But so the problem we had was it didn't matter if we put linoleum or tile or the little tongue and groove.
The floating floor, the floating laminate.
Hey, look who's there. Hey, Ian. You want to join, Ian?
Hey, Ian.
Tell your wife that you will use her hair dryer to clean the wax off her floor. LOL. Good luck.
Ian got to jump in and stir it up.
Stir the pot. Stir the
That's
pot.
another sharp cat right there.
Pressing
That's another
class
sharp
and
cat.
ironworks too. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to ask Ian a quick. Ian, if you got time, man, I know you're the busiest guy ever. Jump in here. I want to ask you about something.
Sarah, do you use the iron on top of the cloth?
So I couldn't find it. The kitchen's like 350 square feet, right? So I couldn't find a economical way to do redo the floors. So what I did, because everything, tiles and all that would crack because of the unlevelness of the floor, I took, now this is hillbilly engineering, Earl. You will love this. I took 1/2-inch thick privacy fence slats, squared the ends off, and made a hardwood floor out of the privacy slats. Cost me 50 cents a square foot, so $175 to do the whole kitchen, and then just rented a floor sander, sanded them all down, and
That's the hard part.
so.
Hey, Bob, what's your question? Ian asked. He's only got 5 minutes.
Okay, you only got 5 minutes. How bad are hive beetles where you're at in Canada?
He don't have them.
At all?
No, I think he gets them. No.
Yeah, I already know that answer. He don't have them.
It's too short of a season, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah.
Cold.
What I'm going to do for Ian that way, because
We'll box him up some hive beetles and send him so he doesn't feel
right. I don't want to exclude him, and I've been told sharing means caring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send him a Tim Hortons coffee bag, and it's going to be filled with hive beetles. He's going to shake it, he's going to be like, "Oh, dang, I got some Tim Hortons." Open it up, and they're just going to fly out.
Too cold. Okay.
I'm going to get him.
Hey, we could 3D print them some little
right? 3D print them, Brian.
Shoes.
The beetle bomb.
He only has 2 seasons up there, and it's winter and July.
Winter and July. How many hives?
Winter and
How many
July.
colonies do you have now?
Me?
No, Ian.
Oh my
2,400
God.
last I remember.
I think he put 1,800 in his shed.
Man, that's a lot, Ian. I give you props, man. That's work, man.
Yeah.
So he's got to have like 2,000 colonies to be able to produce honey in 1 month in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he put
He has more than that. I'm just joking, guys. I'm
1,616 colonies.
16 in a shed. Wow, man. But man, that's hard, Ian. That's hard.
But look,
man.
he the way them guys are doing it up there with that farming operation, him and his brothers have got that figured out, man.
Yep.
My dad kept cows. That stuff's hard.
I saw a video from a guy that's in Wyoming that sheds his bees too.
Huh.
It had him sending his colonies to pollination in California. He filled up by himself 86 tractor trailer loads of 400, I think it's 400 colonies.
Wow.
Something like that.
That's
And
amazing.
that comes out to $5.5 million at like $235 a colony.
I think if I get 5, I'm looking for somebody to give some to. I'm like, I got too many colonies. I don't want 5. 3 or 4 is fine for me.
Yeah. Bruce said, I think after like all the fees that were involved, like the brokers and just everything like that. Ian, you take care, buddy.
Thanks,
See
Ian.
you.
Bless.
Take care, Ian.
I think-
See you, hero.
I think Bruce said that he was getting like $130 or $140 a colony
Netting it. That's what
after like all the fees were all done.
that's
Still good money.
yeah. I mean,
But how much are the
mean,
fees,
that's
though?
fine.
I'm curious what the fees are.
well, if he was making 130, that means they were basically splitting almost 50, maybe like a 60-40 split. Because last time I saw it was like 230 for a 10 frame colony or something like that.
I love how they do what they're doing. It's kind of like around here in the cattle industry, we have a co-op where, the tractor trailer comes in and gets so many cattle from each farmer and then takes them. And that's kind of the way they're doing it. The tractor trailer comes in and they're getting colonies from everybody and hauling them out there. And I think that's just great. That's teamwork.
Well, if you think about it, it's probably, I mean, with the broker split, someone's got to pay for that tractor trailer and the fuel.
The driver.
The driver gets paid for the mileage, right? So then they get to
Unless you have your own crew.
unload all that stuff when it gets out there.
Unless you have your own rig to haul your own gear, then you're cutting that cost. There's
And
ways
you're
around
3
it.
days out there. Unless
Yes.
you got a team driver, it's going to take 3 or 4 days just to drive them out there.
And then, then they got to load them up and bring them back. So, I mean, there's an expense to it. So I can understand that. It's not like we have Big Red and we load it down with, 100 hives and carry it out there.
Goes back to the initial question. Beekeeping is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Just to add to the stereotype, I used to drive a big rig. I'd pick up frozen chickens down South Carolina near Columbia.
Oh,
and
you
we
must
would haul them out to San Diego,
or
California. Then we'd go up to Salinas and pick up frozen vegetables or Oxnard and get onions and bring them back out to like Maryland to all these restaurants and stuff. I've done that for just a little while.
I've done that before, tractor trailer. I went
It's
to
a
Denver,
hard life.
53,000 pounds of Jolly Ranchers.
Brian,
Man.
how's your girls doing, Brian?
They're doing good.
Good. Right on, man. Good to hear. Right on.
Yeah, the few that I have left, I pulled frames on 2 of them, just to check if there was brood, and they're actually on the one. There was just the center where you could see, but then clear around it. I mean, a good size pattern for now had eggs and stuff.
Nice, man. They're getting ready, huh? Ramping up.
Oh yeah.
And the Apame hive, how's that? What's the update?
I bet you
on
love
that?
that.
Yeah, how's that thing working for you?
Well, I don't have anything in that yet. That's going to get some splits. So I took actually all of that from my place here. It's all over there and ready.
Nice.
As soon as I mean, the weather's going to have to warm, but as soon as
Same here.
get the drones, and then when I see some cups in that start, then I'm going to start doing my splits. But we just have to. We got to get the warm weather
You got the same weather I got, man. It's cold and rainy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's going to be the weather here. We're in the 60s a day, then it's dropped down to 50s in a couple of days and jump back up in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But this nighttime is still kind of cold down in the 40s.
I'm hoping this next warm spell, the red buds will bloom and give us some sign, some sort of sign that it's. I noticed down in South Carolina, you have red buds. I saw them. I can't wait for that.
Our trees are just like, we've got 2 maples out here, and on the upper, portions of the trees, they're swelling up.
Nice. Get ready to pop, huh?
Nothing's open, and we probably won't have anything open. It's probably going to be 2 weeks, but we're getting there.
That'll go by quick.
I showed you guys what we had. Some spring lilies, some gill on the ground, some henbit, and some dead nettle. But and some of the legumes, the native vetch is starting to grow. And my neighbor, he's got a good little patch of rabbit tobacco out beside his house. It's flowering. Oh, wow. It's not a lot, but it's something.
What I got out here, like in my backyard, I have what they're called Mexican hats. No bullshit. They're these little flowers, Mexican hats.
Yeah.
And a lot of stinging nettles. We have Indian fire blankets. Once the flowers bloom here, I'm going to put a video up of all the roadside flowers we have here. It's
What's up with all the racist flowers down in Texas, man?
Yeah, I had to look it up because I didn't know what it was. No bullshit. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And it looks like it's because the pollen pestle sticks up like this, and then the petals like hang down over the sides. And you look at it, and it looked like a Mexican hat, man.
I'm offended that's called a Mexican whatever it is. I'm just offended.
You call it a sombrero flower?
Yeah.
I had to look it up because I was like, what kind of flower is this?
Right.
Well, our azaleas are blooming still, and
I didn't mean to offend you, Brian.
Guys, if you know what a melungeon is, that's what I am. So I'm a mixed breed of everything on the planet.
I'm real curious to see those Hive Alive pollen patties, how they take those.
You know what I got to do? And I enough people tell me, and I'm like, yeah, I probably should have done that. So the next day where even if it breaks close to 50, I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut them into a third. And I'm just, instead of having that strip on it, I'm just going to leave a little square, and just to kind of get them going,
Now, that was a 30-pound box?
Hold on. It's also known as a prairie cone flower.
Prairie cone flower.
Or Mexican hat.
It had 10 patties in it.
So 10-pound box probably?
Yeah.
Now, I need to go to the Hive Alive site. Are they on the site, or is that a new product they haven't even released yet?
No, they're on there. Yeah, they're on there. And in fact, somebody yesterday watched my video, went and ordered them, and they already got the shipping. They shipped them. They ordered them, and they were literally shipped the same day.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Well, I need to. I'm gonna order
Irish Terrier.
But see, now that I have this.
Oh wow.
I don't know that I need to buy any pollen patties. I just make some.
Yeah.
There you go. How much was that?
40-pound bag was $100, something like that.
And how long would that typically last you, Bob?
My first one, I still have a little bit left of it, so it's lasted me well over a year.
Okay, nice.
So. I lucked out because I got a text from Greg the other day, and he's making a feed run, and I was going to get some Ultra B, and he told me, he said, don't, like, the quantity that I need, like, they rake you over the coals.
It's not cost effective.
He's buying like huge, like
the tote
quantities. So he's like, I'll just sell you like a bucket. So I'm just going to scoot down. And one of the days when I go to his place, I'm going to get some Ultra B, and I'm going to get some Pro Sweet and stuff. So
now the Pro Sweet, I can't bring myself to do it just for the cost.
I make my own.
Well, I mean, that's inverted already, right? So the
it is, yeah. Everything's all set up for them, so it's just.
But 5 gallons of Pro Sweet,
It's pricey. That's why I never bought it, but the only reason why I'm going to use it now is Greg has it. And then a friend of Greg's actually told me that he would give me a couple gallons just so that I could try it out. And I told him, like, no, don't, there's cost involved. I hate people giving me stuff,
Yeah, especially when people are spending their money on it too.
Unless it's moonshine.
Yeah.
Yep. Except moonshine, right? I keep that right up here.
Ooh,
and
hello there.
It is supposed to be shared.
That's Walker B. Ranch finest right there.
Yeah. I keep that right there on my special shelf.
Nice, man.
But
nice.
I live in the Virginia, Kentucky area, so
his mixture, I think it's Kelly, or was Kelly. Now it's Man Lake, but he buys it in bulk, right? He takes Big Red up there with the tote, and they pump it in there in his tote. But I mean, I think it's a cheaper way to do it.
You guys heard of Golden Barrel?
Golden Barrel?
It's an online place where I order syrups, and you can order whatever you want. I like to order high fructose corn syrup 55, and then I get an inverted sugar, and then I order maltose, and I can mix them the way I like them. What I'll usually do is put like 1.5 gallon of high fructose corn syrup, and then it's another 1.5 gallon of the inverted, and then I'll put 2 gallon of the maltose, and it really gives you a high glucose, low fructose, and
Spam killer.
And it makes it pretty much as close to a Pro Sweet as you can get, and you can do that for about $22 a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh, wow.
I just found a place out here close to where I live that there's an actual sugar plant not too far. And I went in to get my car inspected, and the guy's like, "Hey man, there's a sugar plant right down the street here, and if you need syrup and stuff, you can probably go there and get it for really cheap, like pre-made already out of rail cars."
And if you don't like the high fructose corn syrup 55, you can get high fructose 45, which is 45 fructose and 55 glucose. So
now, how does that come in containers?
5-gallon buckets.
How much is a 5-gallon bucket of high fructose?
You're going to spend 20 to 30 buckets for the 3, and then when you mix them up, you're going to make I think it's 20 gallons of, and then you have like for each 5-gallon bucket, it's about $22. I think I had it figured out last year when I made it. So that's a lot better than 90.
That's not bad, man. Yeah.
And if you have a Pepsi Cola plant near you, you can get high fructose corn syrup for $2.80 a gallon.
Oh, wow.
Well, hey, I found the cheap through my work because I work for the bread company. I deliver to restaurants. So I've been getting food grade 5-gallon buckets from restaurants that they had pickles in and stuff like that. For free. Yeah, they just give them to me. They're going to throw them out. I'm like, just keep them. I'll pick them up every day. You got them.
I do the same
Everything from Golden Barrel is bakery quality. So it's food grade plastic, food grade everything. I mean, it's good stuff.
Golden Barrel?
Golden Barrel.
Are you swarm trapping this year?
Huh?
Are you swarm trapping this year?
I have 2. My thing why I never did before was with my work and traveling, I was never able to because I was usually gone Monday through Friday.
Right.
So that's why I never grafted. That's why I never did anything before. Now this year I was going to try, but I haven't said much, but I found out last Friday my contract is changing. So I already got a new gig. I already interviewed. I already got a new contract with work. And it's going to be remote again, thankfully, but it's only for a couple months. But if that changes, there's another contract that the consulting company I work with has, but I would go back to traveling. I would only be home a week a month. So
not much B time.
It's like being a truck driver.
Yeah. So that's why I can't really do much because, I never put out swarm traps because I could put them out and then I might not even get to look at them.
Right.
They'll have swarmed again before you get to them.
Yep.
Your swarm
It's
trap
just
does
like
swarm.
grafting.
Swarm traps are going to swarm.
Yeah. It's just like the grafting and that where everything's on that timeline. Well, yeah, I could do it, and then I might not be home for 2 weeks.
My swarm traps this year have pretty much just been placed around my own apiary to try to catch my own swarms if they happen to, and I can't catch them.
I keep monitoring this thing because that video says it's about 8 seconds away from being downloaded, but it never gives you the right time. It just says stuff. But
yeah,
new videos just about to pop out, guys.
Then,
I'm gonna plug in my second monitor,
and I do a lot on Facebook, so the local groups, people know that I beekeep around here. They buy my honey, so if they see swarms, they pretty much call me, and I just go get them.
yeah.
So that's a little bit easier.
I'm waiting on the phone calls too.
I just went down to my local utility company and told them, hey, if you guys have any issues with bee swarms, here's my name and number. Just give me a call.
Yeah.
See what happens, man. If it worked.
I've seen where they like to get in the water boxes on the ground, where they check the meters. They like to get in those in the city for some reason. Maybe
Yeah.
cooler. I don't,
The one when I first started, I wanted to catch some swarms, and the one local club, they're a pretty decent sized club, and they could put you on the swarm list. But if you weren't in, at least my impression of it was, if you weren't in a little clique,
you have to be.
Yep. You never got called, and it was always the same people in the club that they would contact, and I'm like,
Bob asked me earlier, Brian, if I get involved in any bee clubs here. I don't in Texas because they're all like rich, wishy-washy, just kind of shitty, crapping people, man. That all they want is the honey, and it's like, hey, man, it goes a little bit beyond that, and they don't want to spend the money on it. It's like, well, then.
Yeah.
The bee supply company here, believe it or not, a lot of people call the bee supply companies when they find swarms. So the bee supply company has my name and number. And they'll call me if somebody calls them about a swarm.
That's good.
So,
I used to be a volunteer firefighter, so I told them at the fire department and at the police department, y'all let me know.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to call fire department and the police department.
A lot of people call the fire department and the police department. And so some people say that, which I've not done this, but I'm thinking about doing it, is call the local pest control people, and they can get you back. I'd rather go straight to them as go through a bee club, just like you, because I know there's already guys in front of us in that bee club. But if I go to my old buddies at the fire department and my family over at the police department, I'm like, y'all let me know.
Yeah.
I'll call my local fire department here and tell them.
And everybody that knows me here and around here knows I'm not stingy. I'll put, if somebody's like, I want bees, and I got them, I'll bring them to them. Nice, it ain't nothing for me to give some stuff away.
That's where I'm gonna go with this too. Like once I start getting bees, I'll give them away to veterans. That's what I want to do. If there's other veterans in the area that want to start beekeeping, well, hey, here's some of my freebies.
Yeah,
I'm a veteran. Let me go ahead and pass that on and keep
Rodney got a swarm the other day.
Rodney did?
Milton.
Okay.
He texted me. Now it was a little bit south of his place. I think it was like an hour south of his place.
Mm-hmm.
But he sent me a picture. He was like, dude, look at this. And I was just like, I cannot even believe it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like the whole process of the swarm, like the reproduction process, and to watch that happen. I mean, how many people are actually aware of that process when they're seeing it? Actually what's going on in a bee swarm,
Or hearing it. The first time I heard it, I was like, there's a plane crashing. There's a plane getting ready to crash coming over that. And it was bees. I mean, they are loud.
Sarah's taking off, guys.
Lee, he must be at work or he'd jump in here.
Yeah.
Since he bought 85, so he's got 6 buckets with lids for $85.
Okay.
I I was in the garden last year, and a swarm flew right over my head, and I heard it starting, and I'm looking, and I was on the ground on my knees, and I looked up, and they came around the garage and flew. They were like 10 feet over my head, and I'm just like, why are you doing this to me?
So when you see a swarm, are they usually like in a tight ball when they're swarming like that?
Oh,
or are they
no,
they're all over the place?
That's it right there.
No, you're scaring your dog. He's like, hey, cut it out. Are you okay?
And
you all right, Daddy?
I went across the street following them, but there's fields with, woods around here, and they were going across a cornfield, and I'm like, man, I ain't going to
go running
through a field, and they went into woods, and I thought, oh, there's no way. Because I wanted to see where they went. That way I could maybe, get it. And I thought, man, I'm going to chase this thing for half a mile. Yeah. So
my mentor told me, he's like, I'm feeding bees out in my yard, and he's like, get a compass. And he's like, no bullshit. He's like, you shoot, he's like, bees, when they feed, they go straight from water back to the colony.
Tom Seeley's got a video and a book out on it.
Yep.
Yeah. And what was Boone's Bee saying? He's like, go mark your workers out there that are feeding when they're feeding. And he's like, what you do is like how you follow them. He's like, maybe take your feeder and maybe start placing it like another half mile closer to the direction they're flying. But I live in Texas. I can't run through people's yards and stuff like that. I wish.
Yeah.
And I live in the mountains. They could fly from this mountain to that mountain. By the way the crow flies, it's nowhere, but it takes me 20 minutes to drive over there.
Yep.
Right.
Like walking it even longer. Take you a day.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. I wouldn't even try it.
Yeah.
That's Ladybug's brother right there.
His sister, that's little Becky.
Oh.
You got such a beautiful dog, man. She's awesome. Man.
I love her to death. Way more than a person should, I guess. My animals are, well, as a bipolar schizophrenic, people let me down. My animals don't.
Did you guys see Ladybug going crazy in that one video?
Yeah, when he was talking to her. I didn't think she could move like that.
Oh, Brian, you were talking to Ladybug?
Crispin's, dog.
Jason was talking to her.
Dog.
Okay.
That thing, I was cracking up.
Looked like a little barrel jumping around, didn't it?
Really?
I got a black.
Dogs, Brian? No dogs?
Yeah, Brian's got dogs.
Brian? Oh, okay.
No, I don't have one.
Oh, okay.
My wife.
I thought I saw a video with you and the dog.
That's my mom's dog.
Okay.
You can come get all three of mine.
Yeah,
I gotta have mine.
They would love where you live. I got 3 Siberian Huskies.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I got 3 pit bulls.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
There's a blue one and a black one in there, and the black one looks like Ladybug. It's just a barrel.
I got too much, man. I got 20 bees, 1 pig, 35 chickens, 3 ducks.
Oh my God.
3 dogs, 2 cats.
Oh wow.
Happy
guys,
place.
I'm on out again. I'm gonna go eat lunch and I'm gonna go set another swarm trap down by the water.
For 2 hours, guys. So
yeah, awesome, man.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody that came, stopped by, left comments, thumbs up.
Appreciate everybody. Appreciate you guys.
Watch the stream team tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Nature's Image Farms. Channel.
Yeah.
And
I like how everything is
code on Hive Alive if you choose.
Everything's opposite here.
Yeah, it took me forever to figure that out.
Hey, Bob, how have you been doing with that?
Not good.
No.
I mean, I get clicks, but nobody's bought anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had a few.
Few bought it?
Yeah.
Well, you guys got a little bit bigger viewership than I do too.
I've had a few, and it.
I'm out, guys. Good day.
Hey, it sucks because not like 2-3 days after I got my box of pollen patties, some darn rep from Hive Alive sent me an email saying, wanted to thank me for the referrals and said, can I send you a box of our pollen patties? I said, well, you're about 3 days too late because I bought a box.
Just said, here, send them to this address, and gave them my address because I would have used
There you go.
I thought, man. So.
Well, the thing is, I haven't gotten anything free from. Nope, that's a lie. When the little swarm commander vials, when they were first coming out, when they were before they even were packaged. They just had the vials. Blythewood Bee Company gave me some of those to try.
Oh, okay.
But
Better Bee sent me a feeder, one of the new ones.
yeah, I haven't gotten anything.
Carl's cool. Carl, the guy that owns Better Bee, is one awesome cat, man. He'll talk to you just like you're.
Well, why don't you call Carl up and ask him why he doesn't want my $5,000? I'm curious.
I don't know.
I'm calling him. Why they don't want to give me that?
Not Better Bee, but Be Smart. Be Smart, maybe is what. Yeah, Be Smart Designs. Be Smart Designs. Carl Struhl.
Okay.
Yeah, I said Better Bee. I'm sorry. Yeah, way different.
Disappear. You remember that Better Comb? Do they still sell that at Better Bee? Because they had that Better Comb that was like the synthetic wax already drawn comb.
Fred Dunn had a whole video on that, man. It was pretty cool to watch. And as far as I know, they still sell it.
What I found, I saw Backyard Bees NC when he still was doing his beekeeping videos.
Ryan.
He said he liked the comb. He had a bunch of it, but with the southern temperature and the heat, it started stretching.
Same thing Fred said.
And maybe I haven't seen it anywhere anybody talking about. So maybe they discontinued that or trying to fix it or something. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't received anything free from anybody except for a handful of those little vials from Blythewood Bee Company, because Blythewood Bee Company,
I like free
here in South Carolina. Yeah, free 99 is the best thing. So here, Blythewood Bee Company in South Carolina actually created Swarm Commander. That's they made that brand. So
that's good stuff.
So
hey guys, I'm going to jump out of here too. Appreciate you very much.
Yeah, I better too. I'm
honored you're with us, Brian. Yeah.
All right, so
thanks for letting us in. God bless.
With beekeepers, we can go for days and days, but we're going to call it, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, the thumbs up.
Check out my new video.
Check out.
I got it on the screen.
Video.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
The live on Nature's Image Farm tonight from the stream team.
Can't wait.
We'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.
Hey, God bless.
Bye.
You guys have a good one.
Bye.